President Donald Trump taunted his critics on Tuesday in the hours before his history-making meeting with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. "The fact that I am having a meeting is a major loss for the U.S. say the haters and losers. We have our hostages, testing, research, and all missile launches have stopped, and these pundits, who have called me wrong from the beginning, have nothing else they can say. We will be fine," he tweeted. Trump began shaping news coverage of his summit with Kim, taking place at 9 a.m. local time and 9 p.m. in Washington, bright and early at 5:30 a.m. He said in tweets before the sun rose over Singapore that meetings between staffs and representatives are going well and quickly, echoing a statement from his White House the evening before that talks were progressive so fast Trump would leave Singapore early. "But in the end, that doesn't matter," he acknowledged on Twitter. "We will all know soon whether or not a real deal, unlike those of the past, can happen." Trump's motorcades was the first to pull into the Capella Resort in Singapore, which has been closed to outsiders for days out of extreme precaution, on Tuesday morning. Kim was not far behind, after making the under 15-minute drive from his hotel to Sentosa Island along a route filled with gawkers. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo shared a photo of himself marching through a hallway with a determined look on his face as his opening salvo in a tweet that declared, "We're ready for today." Kim, meanwhile, spent the hours leading up to talks attempting to soften his image. The vicious ruler who has directed the murder of his own family members in a quest to consolidate his already absolute power posed for photos on Monday night as he went on a sightseeing tour with Singapore's Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan. His tour included a stop at the Marina Bay Sands Hotel and Casino, where he was welcomed by a cheering crowd of tourists and local residents who had flocked to the location to take in the spectacle. As his trip around the city was taking place, the White House pulled the curtain back on the schedule for today's talks. A White House statement said the summit would consist of an introductory meeting, group discussion with the two nations' senior officials, working lunch, and press avail before Trump departs for Washington. The discussions between the United States and North Korea are ongoing and have moved more quickly than expected, the statement said in an explanation of Trump's newly announced Tuesday evening departure. The White House said that Trump and Kim will speak with only translators present before a joint meeting with their delegations, as is consistent with the way that conversations with foreign leaders are typically handled. The president usually spends several minutes alone with his counterparts before moving into expanded bilaterals. Pompeo told journalists during a briefing several hours earlier that Trump is going into this meeting with confidence, a positive attitude and an eagerness for real progress toward North Korean disarmament. He also said that America is prepared to offer Kim unique security guarantees if the country is willing to give up its nuclear weapons. Trump and Kim arrived within hours of each other in Singapore on Sunday. The U.S. president, who almost never dines outside the White House and does not partake in alcohol, hunkered down for most of Monday. His only trip outside the posh hotel he's residing at was to the presidential palace for a meeting and luncheon with Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong. The summit's host nation presented him with a cake to celebrate his Thursday birthday. Trump turned 72 on June 14. During the rare trip out of his hermetic nation, the 33-year-old Kim also hobnobbed with Singaporean officials. The dictator sat with Loong for formal talks on Sunday and went out on the town with the Prime Minister's education and finance ministers the following evening. At the meal, Trump told Loong that he is preparing for a very interesting meeting tomorrow with Kim. "We've got very interesting meeting in particular tomorrow," he said, "and I just think it's going to work out very nicely." Singapore's foreign minister tweeted a picture of Trump after the meeting grinning while being applauded by his chief of staff and secretary of state during the luncheon that was closed off to press. The visit to see Lee was the only outward-facing item on Trump's agenda on the eve of his high-stakes negotiations with Kim. A meet and greet at Trump's hotel with embassy staff was held off-camera, and after lunch the White House said there would be no more appearances on Monday in public for the U.S. president.